Hey church, just want to extend an invite for you to continue to join me in prayer as we have an extended period where we are gathering in homes. I'm asking our church to join me in an extended season of praying for our church, for our community, for our city, for our region, nation, and world. I believe that it's God's people's responsibility to advocate for those around them, looking to the Lord as one who is sustainer and provider and creator of all things. We know that He knows the answers, that He has the solutions, and so we look to Him for those things. We are allowing the story of Joshua to inform our prayers as we continue to lean into prayer together. Last week, I challenged you and encouraged you to join me in praying that God would be made known, specifically that His promises would be made known and that His presence would be experienced. This week, as we continue the story of Joshua chapter 2, we see an unlikely person step into the story. We see Rahab. From the background of prostitution, she was just trying to provide for her family. But as the story of God's people began to circulate, as God's activity in delivering the Israelites from the hands of the Egyptians and parting the Red Sea and bringing them through the Jordan River, as these stories began to circulate, Rahab became one who believed and feared in the God who was alive, the God of the Israelites. And so these spies came into her city. And as they came into her city, she became an unlikely instrument of God's mission among her people and among God's story throughout history. So much so that Jewish history would say that she likely married one of the Jewish spies who came into her city. And as we read the genealogy of Jesus, she's one of the 5 women included in the genealogy of Jesus. Rahab, an unlikely candidate as an instrument of God's activity in her city in an unlikely way. Now here's the truth. Many of you might see yourselves as unlikely candidates of God's activity within your community, within our city, within your neighborhood, and yet God has intentionally and in His providence planted you there for a particular reason. And I believe it's to see His mission advanced and carried forward through your life. We know that God has come through Jesus to seek and save the lost. So it's my prayer that we would embrace this identity of the unlikely candidates to carry forward the mission of God in our community. Are you willing to join me in that prayer? God, would you make us people who see how we might be instruments to carry forward your mission in our city today? We recognize that there were for Rahab, there are many obstacles, there are many challenges, there are many things that might prevent us from stepping into that space, but might we be a people of faith who prayerfully pursue God's activity in our own life and look for God's activity around us and embrace God's calling in that. God bless.